Hi everyone, Kate here from Faith, Hope and Laundry. Today let's talk about 14 simple and realistic items that you can start decluttering from your home today. These are things that we probably all have in our home. I know they're very realistic for me and my family at the moment and what we have in our house. But if we start decluttering these items and just those small, consistent habits and changes, will start to bring about more calmness and peace and harmony into our homes. We have to weigh up the balance of the burden of these items is placing on our physical and mental space if we are to keep them in our homes versus decluttering the item and just replacing it if we realize that we need it in the future, because most of the time this won't be the case that you actually need it. Number one item for us to start decluttering are mismatched socks or socks that are not worn. Oh my gosh, these are the bane of my life. I have 3 teenagers who are very close in age and who live across 2 households. We have tried colour coordinated socks for each person to just buying all the same size and coloured socks for all of us to use. And I still end up with multiple mismatched socks. And what I have realised is that they take too much of your precious time to warrant any more burden of trying to find all the pairs. At the most, you could have a system where you keep a bag in your linen cupboard where you store mismatched socks for 1 month max. And if you haven't found the pair after this time, really you are unlikely to. So just throw them away. And if you have full pairs of socks that definitely aren't going to be worn again, then move them on as well. Number 2 item to declutter is expired medicines or medicines that just are not used anymore. I find that these medicine products can slowly but surely start to clog up our cabinets, especially if you have children in the household. It's easy to accumulate seasonal medications, medicines that were started but then didn't need to be taken long term, wound care products, etc. And of course, since COVID, all the rat tests, etc., we have lying around still. You may even have medication in your house that belonged to a loved one who has passed. So maybe this is a good time now to release it from your home. Sift through it all. Any medication that is out of date or no longer going to be used, put it in a bag and take it down to your local pharmacy, who will be able to dispose of it safely. And any products that are not medicines can go into the bin. The third items are books and cookbooks and magazines. Now, these can be a tricky item for people to get rid of. The thing with books is that if you love an environment with loads of books around you, then you need to have adequate storage for them all. But for a lot of us, books will be for a season and then it's time to move them on. If you have bought books for teenagers to encourage them to read, then they really need to be able to identify the genres they enjoy reading. Otherwise, it's valuable money and space at home that is wasted in unread books. If you have read a book already, then pass it on to someone else for them to enjoy as well. And cookbooks, only keep the ones that you cook or bake out of regularly. With the wonderful recipes you can find online now, it only makes sense to keep the books that you really love and use regularly. Number 4 are clothes that you no longer fit. They might be damaged or you just don't wear anymore. I think the minimalist's 90-90 rule works really well here. Ask yourself, have I used this item in the past 90 days or will I use it in the next 90 days? So this rule spans over a time frame of 6 months. Seasonal clothes are going to fit into this time span, or even potential weight loss journeys. If the next season comes around and you still haven't worn it, then declutter the item. And you can actually use a really helpful visual trick here as well. Put your clothes on a coat hanger and hang on the rack with all the hooks facing in the same direction. Let's say towards you. When you wear an item, put it back in the cupboard with the hook facing the other way, away from you. Then after 6 months to a year, the hangers that are still hanging away from you are an indication of what you haven't worn. Have you got clothes in your cupboard that you bought because you liked the colour or the pattern or the way it looks, but actually the item was never your style or colour palette? Then these clothes can be passed on to a friend, or go to a clothes swap event or the second-hand store. Let these items be enjoyed by someone who will wear them. And damaged clothes, well, if they are holey or ripped or broken undergarments, then you need to go bless yourself with some new ones. I give you permission to release the holey underwear to the bin and treat yourself. Other items that you know you will wear again and can be easily repaired by yourself or a tailor, then get them repaired. Otherwise, say goodbye and let it go. It has served you for the time it was meant to. Number 5 is mismatched food storage containers. Oh, the joy of plastic containers, where you end up with either only the container or the lid. This is every family's nemesis. And it seems to be a problem that needs attention every few months in my household. The lid that goes with that container that you are so desperate to find, it's gone, it's gone. Here's a tip for you. Go through all of your containers and lids and find the matching pairs. Put the lids on the containers and stack them back in your cupboard as a pair fitted together. This is the only way I have had any success in keeping the pairs together and keeping the cupboard tidy. The rest of the unmatched pairs need to be decluttered. If you have a container that is still really useful, even without the lid, then maybe you could keep it. But I would just be inclined to move it on, which in turn will move on the frustration when you look at it. Number 6 is tools that you have stashed away in your garage but you never use. This one is applicable to me, and I have landed in this situation because of a well-intentioned parent. My dad loves tools. He also loves a garage sale and a bargain. So I have ended up with tools at my house and I don't even know what they are or what they are used for, most of them. Pass on the tools. We are never going to use them, and if I did need them, then I will know someone who does have them. Just keep the small, relevant selection of tools that you know you will use. For me, these pretty much fit into a small container. Number 7 is old or unused makeup or beauty products. These items are of a similar theme to medicines. Over time, we accumulate so many makeup, skin and body products, and general beauty products, either from buying them ourselves, gifts from others, or even freebies that have been given away to us. They just take up so much space in cupboards, drawers, cabinets, and clutter up vanity tops, shower floors, and edges of baths. Let's free up some space visually and space mentally by decluttering the products that we have partially used, will never use, or are well past their use by date. If products are partially used but still in good condition, then you would be surprised at who will take them off your hands. Number 8 is unused cleaning supplies or chemical products. These type of products are difficult to know what to do with. You may have bought them for a one-off use or a project, or intended to use the whole product but didn't like its effectiveness or smell. They then sit at the back of a cupboard or the shed accumulating cobwebs. These products do need to go. Either advertise them on a community page or take them to a chemical waste recycling centre to be disposed of appropriately. The good thing about decluttering these types of products is that once you've done it once, They are not the kind of clutter that you would accumulate frequently. So it might only be every few years you actually have to declutter these types of items. Number 9 is expired food items in your fridge or your pantry. These items need regular inventory and dealing with, especially perishables in your fridge. It's easy to forget about the leftovers in the container going mouldy at the back of the fridge because it's tucked behind all the sauces and other bits that you hardly ever consume. Start a consistent habit of decluttering your fridge every week and regularly checking pantry items for expired goods. Number 10 is craft supplies and pens. The amount of coloured paper, crayons, felt tip pens, glitter, etc., that can accumulate is enough to test your sanity when they are in regular use or don't have an assigned space that they go back to. If you are like my household, where these kind of supplies mostly get used once a year at Christmas time now, then I think the 2020 rule would work well here. If you can replace these items in less than 20 minutes and for less than $20, then you can declutter it. This is the minimalists rule. But if you do use them more regularly, then declutter any dried up felt pens, broken pens, excess of paper, etc., and find a storage solution that works for your family. Number 11 is broken or unused toys or board games or puzzles. If you have ever had toys in your house or given toys as gifts, then you can appreciate the huge quantity of these items that come into our homes over many years. My family is now in a different season with teenagers, so the clutter looks different. But regular decluttering of broken toys, really used toys, board games, puzzles that don't have all the original components to them, or toys that test your patience are good ones to start with. And it is really helpful to get our kids practicing the skill of decluttering from an early age so that it becomes a lifelong habit of being able to keep order of our belongings. Number 12 is kitchen appliances or utensils that you just don't use or duplicates of these items. I once cleaned a lady's kitchen who literally had every kind of utensil, kitchen gadget, and small electrical appliance that you could think of. They were packed and stacked into cupboards. Utensils were jammed into drawers, and I just couldn't believe that anyone would actually use all of these items on a regular basis because they just don't. They will look different for each family depending on what you cook and how much you cook. But identify the useful and regularly used items and declutter the rest. You don't need 8 wooden spoons or 3 can openers or the spiralizer that has been used once. And if you really are reluctant to declutter a particular item, then you could put it in a box and into the garage for a designated time. And if you haven't missed it, then it is time to let it go. Number 13 is old raggedy linen. These items are so easy to just keep using and using, and over time they deteriorate in looks and quality. Choose some set times, maybe twice a year, when you pull everything out of your linen cupboard and declutter raggedy, threadbare, discoloured linen, or multiple duplicates of linen. Do you actually need 30 pillowcases or 5 sets of sheets for each bed in the house? Probably not. And my last item on my list to declutter are plastic disposable bags or reusable shopping bags. Since plastic disposable bags were banned in supermarkets, I think this issue has improved, but it has created almost a new problem where if you go to the supermarket and you forget your reusable bags, then you buy more paper or reusable bags. I mean, how many reusable bags do you actually need for your weekly shop? Probably not as many as you have cluttering up your porch or hall cupboard or car boot. Have a sort through them all and only keep the ones that are in good condition or are your favourites. So this wraps up my recommendations of easy and realistic items that you can start decluttering in your home today. Tackle each suggestion one at a time, consistently, and I know you'll make great progress. Let me know in the comments what decluttering success you've had. Any suggestions of other items that we could all easily be decluttering in our homes. And until next time, have a great week, everyone.